Welcome. Today is Monday, October 12th. It's the first day of a short week because of fall break. Woot woot. This is a video for those individuals who are absent or need additional assistance. First thing I had you do was go into the pretest to this website, type in this code. This is kind of testing to see what you remember about one-step equations from last year. So hopefully you've gone through and you've done that. Here's your deep thought for the day. You're welcome to pause and read it. A couple of things. As far as calculators go, if you borrow one, please make sure I get it back, and please make sure that it goes in the used box so that way I can clean them for somebody else to use. Try your best to have your own calculator, but if you need one, just ask for one or go get one. For this week, because it is a shortened week, we're going to have classwork Monday and Tuesday, and then 6-question feedback on Wednesday. So for today, I had my classes do the self-start review, the pretest, calculator practice. If you've watched prior videos, you've seen us do that, but we're going to practice it some more. Solving one-step equations is what our topic for this week is going to be. So here we go. So we're going to teach to this calculator right here. If you have a different one, that's fine. We'll teach you how to use it, but this is the main one that we will use. So if we're going to type in calculator, so for example, if we want to do the fraction 1/4 plus 1/2. First thing you're going to do is press the 1. That's the numerator right here. So we're going to press 1, and then we're going to find the button that says A and then B and C. On the calculator, it's right here. So you would do 1 and then ABC and then 4. That would give you 1/4. It's going to look like this. So that little mark right there is just telling the calculator a fraction. Plus, we're going to do the same thing. 1, because that's the numerator, hit the ABC button, and then 2, that's our denominator down here. And then we're going to hit enter. If we're going to do mixed numbers such as 1 1/4 plus 1 1/2, it's similar. So you press 1, that's going to be the whole number right here. You're going to press the ABC button. You're going to press 1 again, because that's the numerator, the ABC button, and 4. So notice you have to press the ABC button twice if you want to do a mixed number. It's going to look like this. So it's going to have 2 marks on it, which is kind of weird, but again, that's just telling the calculator fractions. So press the plus sign, press 1, that's the whole number right here. ABC, 1, it's the numerator. ABC, 2, and then hit enter. If you're going to simplify a fraction, so for example, 6/8. So type in the fraction, so 6 and then the ABC button and then 8. And then just hit the enter button and it should simplify down automatically to 3/4. So I'm having my students kind of practice calculators with fractions. And then we move into our equations unit. So the first thing is we just finished the unit expressions. So what's the difference between expressions and equations? Well, expressions, you don't have to solve anything because we don't know what we're solving for, whereas equations have that equal sign. So now it gives us something that we're going to solve the variable for. So typically, in prior years, you might have done something like this. What plus 4 equals 10? Well, I know that 6 plus 4 equals 10. Well, in 7th grade, we have to use inverse operations to help undo each other. Let me show you what that means. So in 7th grade, these are the things that are required for credit. I hope you're paying attention to this. You have to show a fence. What you do to one side, you do to the other, and you have to write your answer as the variable equals the answer. What do I mean by this? Let me show you. So if I have an equation, x minus 3 equals 5, first thing I have to do is I have to draw my fence. So the fence just goes right down the equal sign, and it kind of breaks our equation up into two pieces. So whatever I have to do to this side to get this x by itself, I have to do the same thing to this side. So inverse operations say the opposite of subtracting 3 would be adding 3. So I'm going to add 3 to this side. And a negative 3 and a positive 3, those just kind of cancel out. Now, whatever I do to this side, I have to do to this side. So if I added 3 over here, I've got to add 3 over here. So I'm going to bring down my variable, bring down my equal, and 5 plus 3 gives me 8. If I plug it back in to check it, 8 minus 3 does in fact equal 5. So again, 3 things. Fence, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other, and list your answer as x or whatever the variable is equals. This one says 2m equals 8. That 2 and that m is connected through multiplication. So if there's nothing in between them, if they're just connected, that means multiply. So I'm going to draw my fence. Now the opposite or the inverse operation of multiply is divide. So I'm going to divide this side by a 2, and those kind of cancel out. And whatever I do to one side, I've got to show that I do to the other. So I have to divide this side by 2. Last thing, I have to bring down my variable, equals 8 divided by 2 gives me 4. Okay, w plus 6 equals 13. Draw my fence. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So the opposite of adding 6 would be subtracting 6. If I subtract 6 to one side, I've got to do the same thing to the other. Those cancel out. I'm left with w equals 13 minus 6 gives me 7. Again, if you're unsure about your answer, plug it back in. 7 plus 6 equals 13. Okay, I have an x, this slash means divide, 2.8 equals 7. So the opposite of dividing by a 2.8 would be multiplying by 2.8. So I'm going to put a little dot there and say 2.8 to this side, draw my fence so I don't forget, and I'm going to multiply this side by 2.8. When I type that into my calculator, I get 7 times 2.8, which is 19.6. So I'm going to list my answer as x equals 19.6. Now, fractions. Fractions tend to throw a lot of people off, but don't let it. First thing, well, hopefully by now you realize, draw your fence. That 1/2 and that c, there's nothing in between it, so those are connected through multiplication. So the opposite of multiplying by 1/2 would be dividing by 1/2. So I'm going to divide this side by 1/2, and I'm going to divide this side by 1/2. I'm going to put my answer down here, my variable. And if I type into my calculator 5 divided by 1 ABC, 2, that will give me an answer of 10. So if I plug it back in, 1/2 of 10, 1/2 times 10 does in fact equal 5. Okay, this problem, I've got a decimal. Draw my fence. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So the opposite of subtracting is adding. So I'm going to add 1.3 to this side. And I'm going to add 1.3 to this side. Bring down my variable, equals 5.9 plus 1.3 equals 7.2. Okay. R plus 2/7 equals 1/4. Opposite of adding 2/7 is subtracting 2/7. Ignore that line right there. That was kind of a mouse error on that. Okay, draw my fence. Those cancel out. If I type in 1 ABC4 minus 2 ABC 7. That gives me an answer of -1/28. Kind of a big fraction, but you get the point. Now notice that my answer is a negative. I put my negative there. We're going to hit those negatives hard tomorrow. So today was just kind of an introduction to it. So if you guys have any questions, we've already done this problem. If you do have any questions, please feel free to email your teacher. Have a great day. Miss you. See you soon.